Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for a brand new video. And today we have a very special guest for this massive occasion coming up on Sunday. The league clincher, hopefully. It was only right to get on. Jordan from City Xtra, what are you saying, bro?
Yes. It's actually this is the first time I linked up, innit? It's like this is the multiverse, this of City fan channels. Nah, I'm buzzing in it. Buzzing. We've always spoken about linking up. It's good to actually link up, and it's you call me Jordan, which is weird. Most people just call me Jordy Body, and it's nice to hear my name again, not Jordy or Jordy Body.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I think it's a good story to tell that the 1894 actually only exists because of yourself and Lewis.
Yeah, pretty wild that obviously you were our first ever extra club member, and then the OG, the GOAT. Funnily enough, actually, because the 2-year badge is now a GOAT, so you'll be the first ever GOAT of the channel. And then Dara became a member, and then you two met in our Discord server, and then this happened, which is mad. And also B Moons was an extra club member as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, Joe, who's behind the camera, you guys can't see him. He was a member. That's how we met Joe. Like, where else would I meet Joe? Just some random guy from the north of England. Like, but anyway,
crazy.
The channel is as a result of your great work. So we thank you for that. Listen, we've got some big things to talk about. I want to talk about our season and how we've got to this point. You said it on one of your streams the other day that if you were told at the start of the season that we would get to the last game of the season against Aston Villa and just need to beat them to win the league, you'd be happy and you'd take that. How do you analyse the season as a whole so far? Because it's been a bit of a roller coaster. No cups, Champions League exit, but we of course still come in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's been a weird season. And obviously, we have to still win the Premier League. But if we do win the Premier League, then you are going to be happy. But say if Liverpool go and win the Champions League and they get that treble, you'll look at it as if factually they will have had a better season than what we've had. But to still win the Premier League, that's the bread and butter. That's what you're going. Do you know what I mean? You watch it week in, week out. It's always disappointing to not be fighting for that title, especially when you have to keep watching it every week. But it has been a weird one. I think we should have got further. And I say that it's weird because I'm saying that, but we don't even have a striker. I'm saying we should have got further in competitions. But you know what I mean? Like we've wasted chances. We have wasted chances, which is again the reason why we haven't gone further is the striker thing. Like the Real Madrid game, I think if we had a striker in that first leg, we could have seen the game off completely. I think the Liverpool game in the FA Cup, we could have done better in that had we taken chances. So I feel like that's been the tale of the season, that having no striker. I think it's something that we've come back to near enough every week, every couple of weeks, is the fact that you always come back to we waste our chances. But to consider that we have scored a lot of goals. Like if we score 4 against Villa, we'll be on 100 goals again, which is incredible for a team. That wastes as many chances that we do. But I think if you look at the way the season started, we looked off it. We looked far off it. Chelsea looked like they were going to do the business. It looked like it was going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, and the way that we come back from that was good. I know people say and we did get ourselves into a 14-point lead. However, there was a lot of games in hand. But I think it has been a good season in the sense of we came from behind, went to the front of it, and then it's been basically a 2-horse race since then. But I am happy with the way that the season goes. If we win the Premier League, you can't. I just don't think you can ever complain if you win the Premier League. Like I'm not one of these people that are going to go on board of the Prem now. We should be winning that every time. Give me more cups.
No, I'm the same. Like your Premier League, I think is the best representation of your season because obviously it's a 38-game campaign or whatever. And people will say, "Oh, City can't win the Champions League." I want to ask you about the Champions League in a sec, but the Premier League is a 38-game campaign. If you can show you're the best week in, week out in that, I think that's the best representation of your season. But on the Champions League, I'm getting sick of it, man. I think for the first time ever at the start of the season, I was kind of more leaning towards I want that Champions League, not even for the sake of winning the Champions League, just to get the monkey off the back. Do you know what I mean? Just to finally get the Champions League in the bag and get people off our cases. What do you think about this year's Champions League exit? And I suppose, what is it, 5-6 years now, Pep is struggling to win that trophy.
Yeah, he's having a bad time with it. He's having a very bad time with it. The thing is, though, most years you're looking at it as a Pep disaster. You're looking at it as Pep's overthought it. And this year, I'm not really thinking that. I'm not thinking Pep's overthought it. There was some questionable changes in that second leg. Don't get me wrong, but I think the first leg we should have pretty much won that game at that point. We had so many chances in that game; it was unreal. So many. We could have scored 7 goals against that Real Madrid side that was at home, and we were just wasteful with our chances. So I look back at that. I do think, obviously, I want to win the Champions League now. I think getting to that final kind of made it like, I think a lot of City fans kind of turned to, I want to win this now because you've been right there, and had it like, obviously, Chelsea beat us on that day. So I do want to win it. And this year was, like you said, at the beginning of the season, I was like, I really want to win it this year. After that loss, I was like, we can go again, we can do it. And then seeing us get to the semi-finals, getting gassed. And obviously, someone put it on Twitter, said, sometimes you're 93-20, sometimes you get 93-20, and we got 93-20 in that second
It
leg.
was one of those. It was one of those freak moments in football, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit. It wasn't Pep's fault, and possibly for the first time in Pep's tenure at City, our exit wasn't his fault. I think it's fair to say a lot of our exits over the years, you could say Pep could have done this better, or he shouldn't have done this better. But the one against Real Madrid was just a freak. What was it? 90 seconds or 2 or 3 minutes of just craziness, and you have to give Real Madrid credit for it, I suppose. But I blame the players personally, and I hate saying.
Yeah, we bottled it. Like the players, the heads went down. They bottled it. If you look, it's mad as well because if you go back to that clip of Fabian Delph saying about the basics, he literally talks about the team doing that exact thing. He says basically like when we go down, the team gets stunned and they just forget how to play football. You need to go back to the basics, keep hold of the ball, pass it about. And Lewis always says this. There was literally no game management towards the end of that game. The players we just crumbled.
If you saw what Real Madrid did when they took the lead, basically in the whole second half of extra time, going down, holding cramps, holding the ball up and tactical fouls and that kind of thing, that's what we should have done. But instead we went hell for leather and started trying to score more, completely unnecessarily. No De Bruyne on the pitch at that point. Fernandinho comes on, he was really poor. And it was just really poor game. It wasn't even a case of lack of experience for me. It was just poor character and it was disappointing overall.
Yeah, it's all. I think any Champions League exit is disappointing. That one hurt because it was at one point
we had that game won, man, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, at one point you look at it in that second leg towards the end of the game. Do you know what I mean? 1-0 up, and you're just thinking, that's it, we're done. We're in the final, and you're absolutely buzzing. But then to experience that pain is disgusting, and then going through that extra time. That extra time was horrible. I think as soon as it went into extra time, you kind of knew. Especially when they had that penalty, you knew straight away. Our team was all over the place. We had no shape, and that's it. It was just kind of that made it worse because you had to then watch half an hour of this broken City side play football, and that's not what happened. It was a half an hour of Real Madrid keeping hold of the ball.
The Champions League is just pain for us at this point. But we do take confidence. Have we now unlocked the key to the Champions League? We have to talk about this guy. Your content was sick. You covered Erling Haaland's deal. Unbelievable. I really enjoyed it. So first of all, well done on that. How are you feeling, man? I spoke to you about this deal a long time ago. I said it to you with a few beers on me now, but I said it with chest. I was like, this guy is coming to City. I know it. And now he's here. We have our guy. A year-long saga. How are you feeling?
Honestly, it's still to this day is weird to even like think about it. Like to see like official things being said still, like people speaking about on Sky Sports that Haaland is a City player, all still feels like rumors. It still feels like it could go south, but it's not. He is a City player. Obviously there's rumors that he's gonna be there on Sunday, which would be wild. I genuinely think that this could be big. I think the fact that the chances that we create, people say, oh, it might take him a bit to get used to the Pep system, and I agree with that, which is why pre-season will be very key. And pre-season this season is going to be a really good one to watch because Pep's obviously going to change the way that we play football. Haaland isn't coming into this club playing false nine. But literally all we need is just a guy in the box to just stand there and he'd probably get a shed loads of chances. So the fact that we've gone and got, like, you know what I mean? You could have, someone like Danny Ings, right, would have improved our squad last season, this season that we're in now. He would have improved it massively. He would have bagged chances. But the fact that we went, oh yeah, we need a goal scorer. I know, we'll go get the best one around is mad. And for the price that we paid, it makes it even better because people, did you see the morning when it was happening? People were saying £250 million deal. Mm-hmm. And then it all came out that it was like all in all, agent fees included, like everything like that. It's an £80 million deal, £85 million deal in total. Like it's £51 million. And do you know what I mean? The players that cost more than that. Fred from United cost more than that.
Ferran Torres basically covered the deal.
Yeah, Ferran Torres has basically just covered the Erling Haaland deal, which is absolutely incredible business. And I know every year you always see like cheeky out. He's pulled it out of the bag. Cheeky Fran, Omar Brada, our board has pulled it out of the bag, and this isn't. Do you know what I mean? Basically, this is just the first transfer of the window. I'm not saying that our squad needs a whole revamp. I don't think that, but I think we're going to get a left back, and I think we'll get a CDM, and that's going to be an incredible window. But Erling Haaland basically it's just levels, isn't it? This is the biggest signing of the Sheikh Mansour era. Well, it could be the biggest signing in City's whole existence.
It is. It definitely is. It's the biggest in City's history, if you ask me. It's the first ever Galactico signing.
Yeah.
If you like, blockbuster name that, everyone goes, it sends shockwaves throughout the world, that kind of thing. And it's great to see as fans the club being ruthless in the transfer market. When you're on top and you're winning leagues and cups all the time, you're getting Champions League finals, it's easy to say, oh, we'll just stick with what we're doing, keep the squad we have, or, hover around the same transfer prices we go for and the same type of players. The club were fantastic over the years and still are at bringing in good players like Cancelo, Gundogan, Diaz, and making them great players, and they become superstars in City. But Haaland is the first one that is a ready-made superstar, and he's only 21. And on the striker thing, I said it ages ago, and I still say it. You bring in a poor striker to this City team, with the amount of chances we make, he scores 10, 15 goals. You bring in an average striker or a half-decent striker, like your Danny Ings you spoke about, he gets 20 goals. You bring in a monster like Erling Haaland, and I know people are talking about his build-up play and his first touch and his movement and all that kind of stuff. People are trying to shit on it, essentially.
Yeah.
But bringing in a player with his assassin of a shot and his ability to put the ball in the net, he can genuinely break records in his first season. We're talking 30, 35 goals if this guy comes in and gets straight off the mark. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's going to show levels when he gets it, and I think he will always, every season that he spends at Manchester City, he'll be up there for the Golden Boot, if not winning it every season with the chances that we create. I do think that we'll have to, we'll see a style change no matter what, with getting a striker in. But I kind of think City were planning that style change in the summer last year, because when we started this season, you've seen quite a lot. Sterling just started playing striker, and I was like, is this because Pep's just he's already kind of planned in pre-season for having this striker? We know the club were very arrogant on getting Harry Kane. We thought that was going to be a thing. So Pep's obviously, if the club are saying to Pep, yeah, don't worry, mate, we've got him. You just planned your season. He's probably thinking, yeah, well, we're going to have a striker here, so we'll kind of adjust. And when that didn't happen, you had to change it around again. I think this is why I said the pre-season thing would be big, because obviously we already have Alvarez in as well, which is another striker. I don't know. I always just think he's going to play 4-3-3, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does it, who he favours. I think Raheem Sterling, if he stays at a football club, could do bits. Do you know what I mean? Because he with a striker, if you look at him in the Euros, he slams with a striker in the team. I think that's why I think the club might keep hold of him, on the basis that he could absolutely slam it. Although today, the rumours with Mbappe not going to Real Madrid, maybe they could come sniffing around our players like Mahrez, like Raheem Sterling. That could happen, but Erling Haaland transforms our team in a way that I think you'll see the best out of other players, which is big, because it's not just you're seeing the best out of Erling Haaland himself. You're seeing the best out of all players. Kevin De Bruyne, you'll be looking at him topping that assist record. Do you know what I mean? With a striker in the team. Looking at players like Raheem Sterling, their performances could elevate. Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, all these players who can return back to their natural positions and have a striker there, someone to actually aim for. It's big. It's absolutely massive for this team, and it's scary for the rest of the Premier League.
I think, barring injury, Kevin De Bruyne can break. Is it Thierry Henry's assist record? Does he hold it?
Yeah, he's level with him, innit? He got kind of robbed, didn't he?
Yeah,
assist taken off him, didn't he, all too? But yeah, it's level with Henry.
I think, barring injury, De Bruyne can break that record. I think bringing in Haaland is going to be scary. And on the system thing, I think it's an interesting one. Myself and Joe did a video recently on how will Haaland change our system, and I want to get your thoughts on that. Essentially, is how he'll play, because my belief is that not a huge amount will actually change. I don't think that bringing Haaland into the team is going to, completely reshape the way Pep wants to play football. I think it'll be very, very similar to what it is now, with the only exception is that Haaland doesn't drop into a false nine sort of role. He doesn't go into the channels the way Jesus will drop around, come outside the box. I think it'll be very, very similar to how it is now. But basically, you'll tell the big Norwegian guy just to stay in the box and wait for Kev to put the ball in your head. Because I think the way we play is actually quite unique. If you watch the way Rodri plays, and you'll know this as well, he plays really high up the pitch. It's not like most defensive midfielders who will kind of hold a bit of caution back or hold with caution to wait for counter-attacks and break them up. He plays really high up the pitch. We have the numbers in attacking positions that I don't think is actually a necessity for Haaland to drop deep. Now, I'm sure Pep will have other ideas. He will want Haaland to get involved in the build-up play because that's what Pep does. He wants all his players to be on the same wavelength and, doing the same sort of things. But what do you think, man? I think it's an interesting one, and people will talk about this literally until we see the guy put on the shirt in the Etihad.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to change too much. I think it's essentially just changing the false nine role to a striker. I think the wingers side of things could change a little bit. Basically, this is a debate that me and Lewis have been having, like on the right hand side. Obviously, because you've got Riyad Mahrez there, who's a left footer, Raheem Sterling a right foot. He's going to prefer a right-footed winger on the right hand side. I mean, like basically rather than the cutting thing. But then I kind of say that Mahrez can still cut in and whip a ball in. Do you know what I mean? Which is incredible. But I'm not sure where the way that's going to go. But I do think you'll see our wingers hold the line up a lot more than what we do now. That our wingers kind of like we flirt with coming inside. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Whereas the traditional Pep way was basically stick to the lines to hold the width, which gives more space for the middle. Obviously, we've had no strikers, so they kind of cut in a little bit and help nowadays. But I think obviously having Erling Haaland in there spread that defense as much as possible to give him as much space to get free in the box and to receive the ball. I think I generally don't think it'll change much. I think we'll stick with a 4-3-3. But what is going to be interesting is if we decide to change it up a bit, because Pep could. The fact that we have strikers here now, Pep can change it. There was times when Aguero and Gabby both played up top, and we had like a 3-5-2 kind of situation, and that's a different tactic that Pep used to be able to use that he's not been able to do right now because we don't have them kind of players. And having the fact that we have Alvarez and Haaland in there, if say we need a goal, Pep can just go, right, let's get another striker on the pitch, which is wild to think about. Imagine like saying, we need a goal. Because right now we need a goal. What do? Let's bring on another midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Let's bring on another winger. Whereas now we actually have these goal scorers. Obviously, there's no pressure on Alvarez to hit the ground running, but we don't know how he's going to do. But if he slams as well, the fact that we have this option, if we're struggling in a difficult game, to be able to bring on two strikers. So starting wise and the normal play of the game, I think will stay the same. But it's interesting that basically Pep has more kind of like basically ideas that he can throw at the team and it change it up a bit if needed to, which is it's exciting. It's like it's mega. This is why I said 3 times now. Pre-season gonna be mega. It's gonna be mint just to see how it changes or like the different styles that he implements. It's gonna be insane.
He's going to add a completely new dynamic to our team, Erling Haaland. I don't know how much credit he gets. The guy is rapid. He's absolutely rapid.
He's fast. It's mad. He's like 6'4", but he's got big pace.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his mother was not. I don't know about an Olympic sprinter, but definitely an elite sprinter. So it's in his genetics. He's a quick guy. So I think something that maybe we're not great at. One of the few things we're not great at is actually counter-attacking football. And if you can get the ball over the top or into this guy's feet, and he can make a run, have Kev running parallel to him, is scary times for defenses, man. And it's going to be really interesting to see how do defenses cope with this guy. Do they go all in and try to crowd this guy out and give him no space, but then run the risk of leaving our wingers and midfielders, giving them extra space? It's going to add a freaky dynamic that I don't think the Premier League has seen for a long time.
The thing is, it's such a weird one because if you obviously you look at Jack Grealish, you look at Riyad Mahrez, you look at Phil Foden, look at the amount of like Jack Grealish is the prime example on this. Every time he plays, he's got a wall of people in front of him because he'll get double marked, he'll get triple marked, just like Mahrez in his first season. He used to always get double marked. It still happens now, but he just deals better with it now. They can't afford to do that because you're going to have Erling Haaland in there, so you can't leave him. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, usually they can just. We've got a false nine guy who's playing more like he's dropping deeper, so they can afford to basically have an extra man on both your wings. Whereas Erling Haaland in the box, they can't like basically double mark Erling Haaland or add an extra guy there because you're leaving space for them other guys. Like we have quality all over the pitch.
Yeah,
and we've shown this year that we have such a range of players that can score goals. That's why like we never really, well, for the past few seasons, we've not really been at the golden boot kind of level because it's all of our players chipping in getting goals rather than just collectively one person getting like loads. And that's dangerous. That's massively dangerous because with Erling Haaland in there, you're either going to give them more space or give him more space. That's just the way it is. So it's going to be, like you say, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary for the Prem. Like I'm really excited for this. We could get clipped now. When Haaland just flops, and we just get clipped saying this. But nah, I genuinely, I feel like it's going to be hard for him to flop at a team where they put it on a plate for you.
I think I've said this loads of times about Haaland, and there's every possibility any player flops when he moves to a new club. You know, it happens, and that's the thing. But there's just something different about Haaland. And once again, this could get clipped up, but I just have a different feeling about Erling Haaland. He just strikes me as one of these operators that doesn't fail. He just does what he does, and you don't stop him. And listen, I could talk about Erling Haaland all day, man. I'm like a kid at Christmas, but before we move on to the Villa game, the main topic, just finally on Erling Haaland, do you think it is now a case for Pep Guardiola? And people will throw this narrative and ask these questions of no more excuses. You have everything you want. You have everyone you want. You need to win it all, essentially. Champions League, at least. Is that it for you? It's an awful question.
It is. See, for me, he does have all the tools there, but the things can happen in the Champions League where luck can go one way. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just not your day kind of thing, but I do think with Erling Haaland in this team, with the signings that we could make this summer, obviously with the left back and CDM, I think you're going to be looking at that and going, yeah, in the next 2 years at least, like you should, like the next 2 years, you should be winning the Champions League with that kind of squad. But it doesn't always work out like that. Like if someone said to me, you're not going to win the Champions League in the next 2 years, but you'll dominate the Premier League, I'd take that. I'd take dominating the Premier League. I absolutely love it. Do you know what I mean? I'm all for all the English trophies and that. Do you know what I mean? The domestics, I'm fine with that. Carabao Kings and that. But I'd really, really, really like to win the Champions League. And this is the first time I think that the club have basically given Pep everything he needs to get that in the bag.
It's a massive statement, son. It's a massive statement, and I think clubs would be fearful. And like I said, I could talk about this guy all day, but I think people will actually get sick of us talking about Erling Haaland if we go on too much. Listen, we need to talk about the big one, man. We are now one game away from winning the Premier League. One win, 90 minutes, whatever way you want to phrase it. I'm nervous, man. I get very nervous for all the games, but this one is a big one. We've been in this position before, haven't we? A few times where it goes down to the last day of the season, and it never gets any easier. Steven Gerrard's Villa. Philippe Coutinho's Villa, Gary McAllister's Villa, Liverpool DNA is there. Is it written in the stars for us to fail, or are we going to do it?
I mean, Danny Ings' Villa as well, isn't it? Oh no! Oh no! The thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter all this Liverpool DNA and that. Do you know what I mean? In this Villa side, and yes, Steven Gerrard will want to beat us to help his side win. That's all good in that, but we should be winning this game. We should be winning this game. If City go there and don't beat Aston Villa, you should probably look at it and go, yeah, well, we probably didn't deserve to win the league. Because like you said, I said that give me this situation. You said to me this situation at the beginning of the year, I take it because it's no disrespect to Villa, but you should back yourself to beat Villa at home on the last day of the season. All the players should be up for it. There's boosts in injury news with Kyle Walker, John Stones, whether they play or not. I think they will. That's big for the team. And I just think it's the last day. You just got to do the job for one day. Put it all on the line. Obviously, we know 93-20 happened. It doesn't always go that way. But yeah. I don't want that again. I don't want that. No, I can't. I don't think my body could even handle anything like that again. I'd just die. I'd just like that. I'd just pass over straight away. Yeah. I just don't think it's a thing, this whole Gerrard thing. I mean, end of the day, he's the Aston Villa manager. He's not the Liverpool manager. Yes, he is a Liverpool fan. But it's like, people say, oh, he's going to throw the game against Liverpool and that. Well, that shows a lot of what he is, you know what I mean? He can't just be a Liverpool fanboy for life if he wants to excel as a manager.
No, I agree. I think he'll want to win the game, of course, but he's not.
He'll definitely want to win it. 100%. Yeah. Gerrard will want to win this game, 1,000,000%. But at the same time, we want to win the game and we should back ourselves.
There's this other angle people are coming with in the last few days, and I don't know how true it is, and you can give me your thoughts. Is that the Jack Grealish thing? He was only 75 million, and they're getting an extra 25 or something should we win the league. And I know you're right that it's a game of football. Both teams want to win, and there's no dodgy business going on behind the scenes. But, I mean, will they secretly want an extra 25 million if that is true?
I mean, and we know that, like, Villa aren't strapped for cash, right? Do you know what I mean? They've got owners with money. But but the 25 million pound thing is true.
Sounds nice.
If you as a club, you're not changing. That kind of changes things. I mean, it's like selling a player. You're getting 25 million pound. You could go buy something that 25 million pound. Yeah. And I know because the rumor is that basically like there's a thing that it's 75 mil, and the extra 25 mil was obviously for when City, if Jack Grealish wins the Premier League at City, then they get the extra 25 million pound on top of the 75. But then they kind of just thought, well, that's going to happen anyway. So it's reported as a £100 million deal because they thought in the next 5 years of Jack Grealish's contract, he'll win the Premier League at least once there. So it's kind of like just a foregone conclusion that, yeah, that £25 million will go to Villa. Whereas now it's coming out that it can happen this summer. It's it throws another twist into the mix, isn't it? That this whole thing of Gerrard throwing the game against Liverpool and letting Liverpool beat them could now just flip on its head now and be he's actually going to throw the game so that City win the league, like not to help Liverpool. It could be a thing.
I think Khaldoon needs to slip a little letter under the Villa guy's door in the stadium, be like, "Remember our deal?" ?
Yeah, because I see people on Twitter as well saying like, "Oh, you should look at the timing, like playing Villa last day of the season. That's the dodgy bit." But we could have never known it's going to get to this. We signed Jack Grealish in the summer. We didn't know it was going to come down to the last day of the season. That's just the way things have happened. And if that is true, then the club might look at it and say to Gerrard, "Yeah, kind of backburning this game. Just allow it."
Chill, let them have their league. But then Gerrard's going, but my lovely Liverpool, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the Villa guy's going, well, you're the Villa manager, you're not the Liverpool manager. You know what I mean? And we won that £25 million.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, none of this probably will have any bearing on either team's performance. But as fans and nervous wrecks, we look to speculate and push narratives that probably have
narratives. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
I think the determination from the City players, anyway, from our perspective, should be and will be at a sky high. I think they will, first of all, be really afraid of going the whole season trophyless, having won so much recently or in recent years. It would look like a bit of a demise and a downfall. I know you got Haaland coming in, and that's exciting, but it would look just bad. You know what I mean? For us to go have a great season, get within 3 minutes of a Champions League final, lose your Carabao, lose your FA Cup, and not win the league. So I'm expecting a massive, massive performance. I'm expecting the fans to go out with massive performance as well. You know, them to really get behind the team. I'm going on Sunday. I'm nervous and I'm excited. I really hope it's going to be a special day. What is before we wrap it up, any final thoughts, and what is your score prediction?
Final thoughts wise, I agree with everything that you just said. I 100% believe that we'll be on our A game. Pep will have them ready for this. We've had a full week rest. Villa played last night, or whenever, depending on when people watched, played on Thursday, drew against Burnley. I back us to be that side. They only rested Coutinho and Ings in that, so I back us completely. Although that doesn't mean I'm not shitting it, because I'm fully shitting it.
You're always shitting it.
I'm always shitting it. Yeah, I'm always shitting it. Score prediction. It's weird. I always do this, right? I'm shitting it, but I think it's going to be like 3-0.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 3-0. I think it'll be a big party atmosphere. Say 2-0 first half, 1-0 second half. You know what I mean? Like, so 3-0 in total. Jack Grealish to get a goal. You know what I mean?
You're like me, bro. If you look at our previews for every single game, whether we even have them in our predicted starting 11 or not, I always predict the Grealish goal. I just manifest. Yeah. I want that guy.
Same. I'm just like getting. Thing is, though, he's been playing sick. He's been playing sick recently, Grealish. His last couple of games, he's really starting to show his qualities, and it's kind of like basically, it's like showing you. It looks like he's getting his head around the Pep system, and it's working really well for him at the moment. So that's why, personally, I'd start him as well. I'd start him against Villa. So if you can get a goal, it just makes it even sweeter, especially against the Villa. You know what I mean? He could lift the Premier League trophy against the Villa fans. That's wild. That is a wild thing.
There's all these mad narratives and twists and angles for this game, man. It's actually quite sickening to think about them all. But you're saying 4-0, but I'm going to say it's going to be a 4-0 based on a massive second half performance. I have a feeling that the first half, just with natural human nerves,
might be a bit
cagey, a bit reserved, get a feel for the game, and then halftime, Pep gives them a slap on the head and says, this is it, boys. 45 minutes to go, and then we bliss them the second half. I'm going to go 4-0. And I'm saying it as well. Joe, you're listening. You know exactly who I'm predicting. Jack Grealish is going to score against Aston Villa, and he's going to lift the league trophy on Sunday. And we're all going to go out for a party. Jordan, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on the show. Like you said, the link up was overdue, and I hope we can do some more maybe over the summer or next season.
100%.
Yeah. Thanks a million. Anything else?
All good.
listen, everybody, if you aren't already, I'd be very surprised if you aren't already. Go and subscribe to Jordan and Lewis over at City Xtra. What have you just hit? 52,000, 53,000?
52k. We're nearly at 53.
And I remember when you were below...
You always a tattoo. You always a tattoo. This guy, right? This guy said in our Discord server, it's a starred message, and I always say this, I always out him for this. He said he'll get a picture of my face tattooed on him when we get 50k. At that point, we had like 2k.
No. Listen, we'll talk about this off camera, right?
Yeah.
We'll come to a compromise.
This Sunday, we'll get an agreement.
Oh god, we'll get the agreement. Listen, go and subscribe to Jordan Lewis. Absolutely fantastic content. They're always streaming, all watch alongs, previews, all that good stuff. Great content if you're a City fan, or if you want to go murk them when we're losing, go and do that as well. Leave a like on the video as well if you would. It massively helps us. We're on the road to 3k. That's our next big goal. So if you want to subscribe as well, that will be massively appreciated. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on Sunday or Monday, depending on how hungover we are, with a review, hopefully with a league trophy. Good night and God bless.